Welcome to Globe Street TV. I'm Ian Ritter, GlobeStreet.com's retail editor. We're here at the ICSC Western Division Conference in San Diego, and I'm with Leandro Tyberg, co-founder of Primestor. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
You guys do a lot of work in urban markets, and now that seems like it's the place to be with infill projects. Do you see that as a trend that's going to be sustainable, or can developers not really, keep doing that because of high costs and whatnot?
I think 10 years ago, people saw the inner city as America's final frontier.
Mm-hmm.
And we were certainly one of the pioneers in educating the tenant community that it's not the final frontier, it's exactly where they need to be.
Where they need to be. Yeah.
Look, the Hispanic and African American consumer are extremely loyal.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to up shop and they look for brand names. And that's something that at Primestor we try to provide to the community.
Yeah.
Is it a sustainable model? We think so. The truth is that there's an incredible amount of opportunity still in our inner cities.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of challenges, whether they be brownfield or the cost of land, difficult entitlements, but they are surmountable.
Okay.
I would say that one of the primary challenges that we have at Primestor is educating the tenant on the true power of the actual community as far as their buying power, their density, and sometimes the numbers that are not being reported on the census.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a real kind of educational process with our tenants.
What's this is something I've always been curious about. What's taking them so long, the tenants? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer when you look at the demographics and the density in these areas. Why haven't they figured it out?
I think a lot of tenants are operating on older models that were basically created in parts of the United States that weren't exactly inner city friendly.
Okay.
I think there's certain barriers of perception. I think there's still some institutional racism out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that any time a retailer takes the opportunity to be educated about the community, and when they actually see the same store sales from our own shopping centers and see the reported sales, they are actually very impressed.
Okay.
So, quite frankly, some of them are ignorant, some of them are on the vanguard of understanding the market.
Yeah.
But those that are willing to commit to it find that it's extremely rewarding.
Is it difficult to get projects done in urban areas? You read a lot about how certain municipalities are against big boxes and whatnot. What do you have to do to communicate to the community when trying to get these things done?
I think you have to manage expectations very carefully, and I think you have to be utterly transparent. Oftentimes what we do is we consider ourselves a bit of a facilitator as much as a developer. And so when we do town hall meetings, we'll actually create graph charts about what are your primary uses that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And in many cases, the process of having an open dialogue with the community actually brings them on board to the type of tenants that we want to bring in.
Okay.
A typical project that we did in the San Fernando Valley in Pacoima, we had about 30 acres of contaminated land that we wanted to clean up. We met with the community. We ended up doing 22 town hall meetings.
Wow.
And actually creating charts which were geared toward understanding what was the true desire and intent of the community.
Mm-hmm.
The center that I had designed was almost like a lifestyle center. By the time we came out of that meeting, the only thing they wanted was jobs, jobs, jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
So we ended up with Costco, Lowe's, Best Buy, and some other uses.
Oh, wow.
And ultimately, they didn't want a Starbucks job. They didn't want a counter job. They wanted long-term job.
Yeah, yeah. You do a lot of centers that are geared toward the Hispanic community. How is there any difference with how they fared through the recession than maybe your non-Hispanic population in the U.S. or?
I think the Hispanic and African American community have been hit very, very hard, along with all of us, but they've been hit especially hard. Hispanic shoppers tend to be extremely loyal, and they shop at mostly discount stores where they find the most value.
Okay.
As a result of that, the type of tenants that we have in our shopping centers have actually fared very, very well. Something that we have certainly noticed is that there is much less access to capital and credit for the Hispanic consumer to create new businesses. To get franchise opportunities have been a very, very big challenge right now.
Are there any good regions of the country right now where you're feeling hopeful about?
We have an office in Chicago and in LA. Both regions I feel very strong about. We would love to open an office in Denver.
Okay.
I think that is a up-and-coming community. And we basically focus on those three primary regions, the Western Coast, Southern California, and Illinois.
Okay, and you feel good about all those areas right now?
I love it.
Great.
Yeah, I feel very good about it.
Well, it's good to hear some good news. Thank you, Leandro.
Thanks, Ian. Have a great day today.
You too. And thank you for tuning in to Globe Street TV.